So you can choose a comfortable pose. After we adjust the body posture, then just leave the body here. Just let it be here. And try to look from a view that this body is no longer belong to us. It's just a body sitting here. There is a body breathing and sitting here. So this is the right view. Before we start meditation, actually we start from the right view. We're not starting from the tip of the nose. We set up the right view, the right perspective to look at this body and mind. This body and mind is belong to the nature. They are just elements, 6 elements. The mind is just the consciousness element. And the nature of this element is just knowing, simply knowing. But if we try to interrupt these elements, then we will think that this is me, this is belong to me. And I will think that it is me who is meditating. I want to have a peaceful time. I want to be this and that. Delete this concept. Just look at your body as if you're looking at someone else. It is the body breathing, not you. It is the mind thinking, not you. So try to detach from this person. And we start meditation here. Relax the body, muscles, tendons. And with the breathing, be aware with the whole body. Just know it naturally. Know it with ease. Simply know it, not to stare at it. We don't need to concentrate in order to know. Just simply know. And relax the mind who is knowing. And be aware of the feelings in this body. Our feelings comes from 2 main sources. One is from the nerves, nervous system, and the other is from the emotion. When there are a lot of thoughts, a lot of or sensations, or feeling of sleepiness, tiredness, this is about the nervous system. And when we have some emotions like liking or disliking, actually this includes almost all kinds of emotions, different levels of liking and disliking emotions. It means an imbalance of our emotion. So usually we start from pacifying our nervous system. because we are usually using the brain a lot in the day. The mind is overactive, and before our nerves can cool down, our mind is not peaceful. So pay attention to the brain at the center of our nervous system. Breathe in, relax. Breathe out, relax. The reason for the tightness or tension of the brain comes from our attachment to ego. We think that this is me. We want to control, and we don't want to let go. Just surrender this brain back to the nature. It is part of the body. It is not me. If it is tired, just let it take a rest. Sometimes our tiredness is replaced and covered by the agitation. So we need to relax it first before we can feel the tiredness. And that's why usually when we start meditation, the first problem is agitation and followed by sloth and torpor. And this is the natural process we need to go through before we can balance our brain. It is natural. Sleepiness or agitation is not our enemy. It is a natural phenomena of this body. They are conditional. They are not evil. So be open to it. Be fair to it. Thoughts are not evil. Feeling sleepy is not evil. We need to deal with it with wisdom, not just aversion. Let the brain take a sleep in the breeze of breath. Our breathing, just like the wind in the midsummer. So we are just like taking a sleep in the midday of summer in the comfortable breeze. And bear in mind that sleepiness is just a feeling from the nervous system, from the brain. Tiredness, just feelings. It is not me, it does not belong to me. This is a very useful and easy practice. And let the brain sleep in the breeze of wind. This is resting our brain, rebalancing or cooling down our nervous system. And when you have time in your daily life, some time break during the work, you can do this. Just keep the right view in the mind. Now, these are just feelings. And let the brain take a rest. Let the brain sleep. It is not you sleeping. Don't resist the tiredness of the brain. Just let it come out. Release it. This is the stress accumulated in our life. And such tension in our nervous system make our brain dull, make our brain blur. Unfold and release, and let it take a rest. And ask yourself, who is knowing? Don't be deluded by the feelings. No matter how you feel, don't be deluded. It is not you. Who is knowing? There is the feeling, and who is knowing? There is the breathing. The breathing is the wind from the nature. Just know the breathing with ease. And every breath is a blessing from the nature. It brings a message of peace and harmony to our mind. Relax our emotional stress in the wind. It is in the past. It is not present. Let it go with the wind. Keep the brain relaxed. And now relax the heart. Relax our emotion. And also the same, bear in mind, all these emotions are just feelings of the mind. It is not me. It is not belong to me. And there is the emotion, and who is knowing. If there are some emotional tension, embrace it. Don't try to kick them out. Just accept it, embrace it. It is part of the nature. They are conditional. Actually, everything is conditional. They are the result of all conditions. And what we can do now is to accept and let go. If we cannot accept, we cannot let go. Accept and let it be. And bring the good messages from the wind to the mind. If the brain is relaxed, then our mind will be still. And if the heart is relaxed, then our mind will be happy. A healthy mind needs both stillness and happiness. All these are just feelings. Who is knowing? So try to be aware that the mind is not the feeling. Then the mind can be free from the feelings. Just leave all these feelings here. Let them take rest in the breath. And we just stay with the knowing mind. Wake the mind up, free from the feelings. When the mind is awake, then it is aware of the present moment without attachment. No matter the sensations from the body or the feelings from the emotion, they are not you. They are not the mind. They are not the knowing. They are just the objects being known. So you are not with these objects, separate from these objects. No matter what you feel, good or bad, pleasant or unpleasant, they are just objects. Just like open an eye in our mind. The mind wakes up like this. breathing is the background of our meditation. There's the knowing, and between the breathing and the knowing, there are the feelings. If the feelings are pacified, then just know the breathing, and just let the knowing stay with the breathing. And even such knowing is not you. It's not belong to you. There is the breathing, and there is the knowing. And or there is the feelings. Whatever, they are not you. Just be with the present moment and let go. Release, relax the attachment to this body and mind, layer by layer. And if you still have the problem of sleepiness, then you can come back to relax the brain. And if you has taken enough sleep of the brain, then wake the mind up, stay with the present moment. Just know the breathing naturally, know the present moment naturally. Actually, the reality exists only for one moment, only with the present moment. The past and the future are just imagination, just memories. The only real moment is the present. The breathing, there's no in-breath or out-breath. There is only the present breathing. Let the mind know the breathing without attaching to the breathing or without attaching to the mind. Just let them work naturally. You are nowhere. You are not with the breathing, and you are not with the mind. There is no self, actually. There's only the body and the mind. Let go the burden of the body and mind, step by step. And we find meditation or mindfulness is easy, it's effortless. Because knowing is the nature of element, consciousness element. We don't need to pay any effort to know, but just to clear the hindrances, the clouds covering the moon. And no matter how good you feel with such uncovered moon, bright, peaceful, empty, it is not you. It is just part of the nature. Pay attention to the present moment only. It is ever changing, ever passing away. Just simply know it. It is just right in front of you. The body is the present body. The mind is the present mind. Everything is belong to the present moment. And once this present moment passes away, everything is gone. And everything is renewed. The body and the mind is passing away all the time. If we simply come back and know the present moment, we can see this fact so easily. Even just one moment ago, the body and mind, or the whole world of one moment ago, has gone forever. So it is not worthy to attach. It's not worthy to cling. Just stay with a distance from it and just know it. And know the ever passing away nature of the present moment. It's like looking at a flowing river in front of us. Once we try to attach to any point of it, we are deluded, we are caught in the stream. We are not with the present moment. If the mind staying with the present moment is to be detaching, to be unengaged. Because the present is renewing every moment. This is the true nature of life. Our life has only one moment. And whether we still have 10 years, 20 years, 30 years to live, it's just a delusion. We have only one moment to live. If we are not aware with the present moment that we are living, we are dreaming. We are living in a dream. So it is meaningless to live for 100 years like this. A really living mind is the mind staying with the present moment. When you can observe the present moment with the stability of mind, then naturally sees the ever-changing, ever-passing away nature. And this is impermanence. And since impermanence, it is not worthy to enjoy. This is suffering, dukkha. And since it is suffering, it is not me. It does not belong to me. This is non-self. All these three characteristics of Dhamma are describing the present moment phenomena. It is simple and direct. We cannot see it because we are not mindful. We are not living with the present moment. So try to observe the reality in this perspective. Then the mind gradually accumulate wisdom to let go. The mind will become more dispassionate, dispassionate to those who which we are craving for in the past, and we can let go those we could not let go. And this will bring a more subtle level of peacefulness to the mind. This is the peacefulness comes from wisdom. It's not from meditation. Even the mind is not peaceful. The brain is not peaceful, or the emotion is not peaceful, but the mind, the non-attaching mind, is peaceful in itself. If we don't take this body and this mind, it's me, then we have no burden. Even they are not peaceful. It's not related to me. And this is the ultimate way to end the sufferings. just accumulate our understanding to the truth with the present moment mind. Just live in this way. Live with the present moment. If we cannot let go, then we suffer. We hold the memory, the past in our mind, and not aware that the mind is burning with the greed, aversion, and delusion. This is suffering, and such suffering comes from ignorance, comes from avijja. There is no past, and there is no future. There is no front, no back. We are born in such impermanent suffering and non-self world, but we are trying to deceive ourselves, thinking that it is permanent, it is happy, and it is self. We would normally think that this life, this person, is more or less permanent, more or less enjoyable, is more or less ownable, it belongs to me, or it is me. This is the wrong view, deeply rooted in our mind, and brings all the problems to us. Meditation is not a work. It's just simply living, living with awareness, with the awakened mind. And it is not about the posture, not about your eyes closing or open, your legs crossed or walking, or your brain thinking or not thinking. No matter what you are doing, or no matter whether you are peaceful or not peaceful, the world, the time is still impermanent, suffering, and non-self. And this is real. This is fact. And when we awake, we can see this naturally. Just try to relearn our life, our ego in this way. And such relearning process takes time. But we just keep doing it in present moment. It's not about long or short, quick or slow. Just live at the present moment. The mind is peaceful. Just know that it is peaceful, and it is not belong to me. If the mind is not peaceful, just know that it is not peaceful, and it is not belong to me. There's no starting or ending of the meditation session. So you can just keep the meditation forever. Don't think about when I will end the meditation session. Just know all the changes in this 5 khandhas. Know as it is. Simply know everything as it is. Go beyond peaceful or not peaceful, good or bad. The body is sometimes comfortable, sometimes not so comfortable. The feeling is sometimes pleasurable, sometimes not so pleasurable. The mind is sometimes peaceful, sometimes not so peaceful. This is the nature. This is the Dhamma. Just know as they are. if you think that you are peaceful or such peacefulness is you or belong to you, and once it changes, you must suffer. And nothing is belong to you. Just be with the present moment. There is no future. If you are expecting the end of the meditation session, you must suffer. Once you hold on to anything, then you must suffer. Because everything is impermanent. You are expecting the meditation to be end in 1 hour. You must suffer. And if now I tell you we'll sit for 2 hours, see the change of the mind. But actually we are meditating for just 1 moment. If you are with the present, there's no time. Just be open to the present moment. Uh, and know the 5 contents, know the body and mind as they are. Peaceful or not peaceful is not important now. Okay, time's up. You are free now. We are never free. We are never free from the greed, illusion, and aversion. Ah, Kelly. Sorry, number 5. I'm not with the person.
Good morning, Ajahn.
Good morning.
There's nothing much substantial to share,
Uh,
but I think I have to admit that today I wish the meditation session could be over earlier because I think there's some aching in the body and
uh,
this aversion is I wish it over.
so it's a very good lesson for you.
So that's it.
Yeah, sometimes we need to challenge our expectation, our old habits. It is not necessarily happening as we wish, right? This is true. And what if it doesn't happen as we wish? We suffer. So just try to challenge it. Try to go against the defilement. When we practice the mind to be peaceful, to be strong, it has enough energy to go against our defilement and try to observe our precept more, keep it more pure, and let go more sensual enjoyment. This is going against our mind, against the defilement actually, not the mind.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it struggles. And this is a time to apply our meditation, our samadhi, and wisdom. Just like playing a game to the defilement. And actually, we improve in such game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
keep our daily life mindful, and if you like, can use the method who is knowing. It is very helpful in keeping the mind present and non detached from the objects. Because usually when our senses get in touch with the external conditions, our mind goes outside, go to the objects. But once we ask we mind the self, the mind who is knowing, they come back to the mind. So this is restraining the senses. This is the method restraining senses. Not just keep ourselves secluded in the forest, but seclude the senses with mindfulness. Keep the mind within this sphere of body, the sphere of this body, of these six senses, including the mind. The mind is the most difficult. the brain. The brain, when the brain is thinking, try to identify such activity quickly. Ask yourself who is knowing. When the brain is thinking, but actually the mind is the one who knows. The mind is not the one thinking, it's the brain. Thoughts are just the symbols in the mind, concepts in the memory, but the mind is knowing. And when we ask who is knowing, when we are thinking, we are mindful, we are back to the reality. We are restraining senses, not going out through the mind sense door, right? Okay, Daniel.
Morning. I guess it's easy to understand when you are happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dharma is easy to understand also when you're happy.
Yeah. Because when we are happy, the mind is open.
Yeah, peaceful is okay. Yeah, acceptable to a lot of things. But when you're thinking, that's always not so easy to do. Because I think the thinking for me was just like you already put in the view to think, and then when you had the view going, you're already sort of like into that thinking already. So to kind of like say, okay, keep a bay and say that, okay, this is not me. It's like, okay, I already started, but it's not me again. It's not so easy. I find very difficult in that part. The thinking part was a little bit difficult. So this is what I still trying every day.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I about. The other thing is also in the daily course of life. You try to help people. Sometimes when you try to help people, you realize that actually when you try to help people, you actually bringing in some problems to yourself because you are taking on more either responsibilities or you're taking on more worries or anxieties but by trying to help other people. So and I try to rationalize how is this possible, because if you're trying to help people with the right intention, then you should only be happy. You cannot be having anxieties and all that. So this is what I'm still trying to apply in the daily life.
Because we still have the selfishness in the mind. We're still thinking that work is a burden. It's something bad. It's something to be finished as quick as possible. Then we can be free. Then we can be happy. Because we think that work is suffering. So the mind suffers from the work. But if we think that work is a source of happiness, then we enjoy the work. What is the difference between working and playing the mobile phone, right? And we think that playing mobile phone is not a work; it's an enjoyment. Just a concept. Even we are doing the same action, but once we think that this is a work, we suffer. So actually, the work, just take it as kind of movement of the body or the functioning of the brain. Nothing more than this. It's not related to the mind. We don't need to like or dislike. Just do the work. Then the mind can be free from the work. But the body and brain is working. So then the tiredness happen only in the body and the brain, but not in the mind. But once we start to hate the work, the mind becomes tired after the work, right? So it is ongoing training. It is very difficult to be awake all the time, but we try to get familiar with the defilement, with the delusion. Once we become more and more familiar with it, then we can wake up faster and faster. Okay.
When you mentioned, so I have asked a question just now when you mentioned that feeling coming from two aspects, right? One is from the nervous system, the other one is coming from the emotion. Is there any what do you call it? Is there anything that we can use by separating the two for our understanding how not to attach to them?
Just do it with the right view of non-self. They are the functions belong to this body and mind. It is not belong to us. It is the five counters functioning and not me. This is a new perspective that we need to learn. We try to observe from this perspective told by the Buddha. Now we are not confident with this perspective yet, so we need to do the experiment. We try to use this assumption to observe and see whether it works or not, whether it can help to end our suffering or not. And when the brain is thinking, it is the nerves functioning, right? It is part of the body. And when the emotions happen, and when we just know that it is just such emotional process, it's the function connecting the body and mind. The emotion can be part of the mind and can be part of the body. It also have influence on the body. We feel tension in the middle of the chest. So it has an influence on the body too. But no matter which party it belongs, it is not me. Even when it is the emotions is already very strong, and we cannot stop it. Just let it be there. Simply try to observe it as kind of not belonging to me. There is a suffering. There are the emotions, but it's not me. And just wait until it changes. It is impermanent. And we just stop thinking the objects that making our emotions growing stronger. Because when we are liking or disliking, and the heart, the emotion, we tends to drive the brain to think the objects that will reinforce the emotion itself. When we are craving, we will think about this, the object that we like, and that in return reinforces the emotion of craving. And when we have aversive, then the brain will tend to think about the object that we hate, and we'll try to maybe imagine how to destroy this object, how to abuse it, and we gain the satisfaction from this process, this mental process, and this is reinforcing the aversion. So stop the thinking and see, just look at the emotions, let it be natural. It is impermanent, and you will change very fast. You pass away very fast. Once it doesn't have enough food from the brain, from the thinking, then it is not that long lasting. Try to observe in this way. It is not me, not belong to me. When you are not engaged in the process, it cannot have enough energy to work. So this is very important. Actually, mindfulness and wisdom can solve all the problems. Okay.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alessandra, number 3. I'm deluded. Yeah. How is it recently?
The mind. I mean, I find it was a very very suitable instruction for the mind today, because it was opening and it was relaxing. obviously with the changes during the period of meditation, but it was interesting to see how it was listening. At a certain point, it was just your voice, and it was just very clear, and very open, I think.
Yeah, that's the right status to listen to Dhamma. Listening to Dhamma is not a simple task. It's not easy. It requires our mind to have mindfulness, sati sampajanya, and the mind to be neutral, just staying in the middle, and not with the voice, and not with the thinking, and not with the breathing, not with everything, but it knows everything. And the mind will the brain will naturally understand the language, and the mind will naturally understand the meaning, and as a result, the Dhamma flow into the mind naturally. The suitable one will naturally flow into the mind, and the unsuitable one will naturally be filtered. This is the way to listen to Dhamma, without thinking and without resisting, just open and present. And actually, if we can listen to Dhamma in this way, it is in itself a meditation, and the mind is stable and neutral, and the Dhamma will guide your mind, will lead the mind to contemplate on Dhamma. So practicing like this, we need to have the brain balanced, emotional also balanced, and the mind is open and awake. And this is actually the preparatory stages before we practice the wisdom, right? We are also preparing the mind to be like this, to wake up the mind, make it open and stable, and not attaching to the mind at the same time. So this is the right stage to receive Dhamma. It is not a easy task. It is about meditation. And what about your daily life practice?
Well, apart from the sitting practice that is every day, in the morning, 1 hour, and then I enjoy very much to read suttas before sleep.
Good.
It's very interesting. I started to read the Majjhima Nikaya some time ago, and I'm reading all the suttas. It's very, it's like the mind is liking it very much.
Yeah.
It was something happening during the daily life instead that was a little bit interesting. I got, say, a good result, or maybe a possible good result from my work. And I noticed it was very clear, it was absolutely not any happiness or something. It was like the mind was really like, is it it? I've been waiting for a result for a long time, and then, yeah, it's good, but it's not that I wish. This is not the thing that make me happy. It's not about work.
Just live at the present moment. And if we are awake, and this mind go beyond happiness and sorrow. It is not about happy or unhappy. It is present. It is awake. This is more important. And the true happiness comes from letting go, not coming from pursuing for the fulfillment or happiness as kind of emotion. Real happiness is not a kind of emotion. It's kind of no burden. It's kind of freedom, peacefulness. So that is more worthy to practice, because the once we if the happiness in the form of emotion must have the pair, because it is relative. So it must be impermanent. But only letting go, it brings the real freedom for the mind. And this itself is kind of pleasant feeling. But feeling is a byproduct. But the freedom of the mind is the cause. It's more important. Okay, it's quite good. Just keep the practice every day. If you understand Dhamma, then just live normally. A normal life is practice already. Number 4.
Good morning, Ajahn.
Yeah. Mindfulness come back to me.
So
Yes.
in the sitting now, it was like sometimes the mind was all over the place, just going here and there, going back and forth and then it was more silent, and then going back to going all over the place, and then silent again. So it was going in between, and then it's like an interesting tension in the body, like it's coming from the lower back and going all over the back, and it's like it's not like a physical pain. It's just a tension, and it's like it's connected to thinking. Like when the mind is thinking more, the tension in the back is becoming stronger. So this was a lot, this sitting.
Because our mind and the body are connected. Just like, as I said, relax the brain and relax the heart. Actually, it is not in the body, but it is the connection between the body and mind. But if we directly look for it in the mind, it's difficult because it has no position, no hint for us to follow. So we use the physical feelings in the body, and then we can trace the source in the mind. The thinking and the emotions connect the connection between the body and mind. So actually everything, all the functions are connected. It is not surprising to see things like this. But just bear in mind the right view, non-self. Just let it be. Even we don't understand what it is. What's wrong? Everything is impermanent, suffering, non-self. That's enough. If we don't forget the right view, then we can overcome the doubt, the uncertainty, or the suspicion, which is a hindrance for our meditation. Just let it be, let it happen. Or maybe after the meditation we can think about it, but not now. In the meditation, everything is not beyond to me. It's part of the nature. Just let it be. And we just know that the direction for our practice to pacify the body and mind, and wake up the mind, and then we can see the Dhamma from the present moment. This is our direction. Don't get lost in this, and we are safe. And how about your life?
It's many different things. Now, when you were speaking about this with work, the mind went to really. It's like there can be a lot of resistance when preparing or going to work. But I've noticed that when at work, I'm quite happy with the work, but there is a lot of tension in the transition between, like, it's like an idea of two very different places, and this idea is creating a lot of suffering. But when being in one or the other, it's okay. I'm quite happy about it. So So there is something that I'm not really seeing this resistance that is there. This idea.
If the mind is not aversive to the work, then the work doesn't make the mind tired.
Yeah.
The mind is tired only by the greed, aversion, and delusion, not anything else. So if we can enjoy the work, then actually the mind is energized after the work. If we can do it with wholesome dhamma, with a positive attitude, like we are to help other people, we are to give to other people, then the mind even gain energy more than usual. It is recharging because it is recharged by the wholesome dhamma, and it is exhausted by the unwholesome dhamma. This is the nature of the mind. Greed, aversion, and delusion are the unwholesome dhamma. It makes the mind exhausted. And the mind of sacrificing, the mind to give, the mind relinquish is wholesome dhamma. Makes the mind energized. So it depends on the mind whether it is tired or not. Because the tiredness of the mind is different from the tiredness of the brain. They are different. The brain can be tired from thinking, from the work, but the mind is only tired by the greed, aversion, and delusion. Nice to hear this. Now you are not exhausted by your work.
Yeah. I'm exhausted before my work.
Yeah.
Not after my work, not after my work. Before my work.
That's good. So work is meditation for you.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Sadhu Ajahn.
How is it today?
How is it today? How is it today? Well, for me, it's a 1 hour time for me to release my tension. Yeah, it's mostly it's from my study lah. I feel very.
It's from the aversion to your studies. If you enjoy the studies, and it is not stressful.
I enjoyed the study very much. It's just that sometimes it's overloading, so it's kind of
just the brain. It's just the tiredness, the physical tiredness. It's not a problem. So just let the brain take a sleep in the summer breeze. It is comfortable and it rest the brain and recharge the brain. And actually, the brain doesn't need to sleep for a too long time. Maybe just 1, 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And the more you enjoy the sleep, and you cover more from the sleep. So you can apply this skill, this technique in your studies. Once you have time, maybe after you study for 1 hour, you can take a 10-minute brain sleep with the breathing. And then you are more recharged. It is much better than the so-called relaxation by playing around here and there. Actually, it is kind of exhausting the brain, the mind also, because we are following the defilement. And the more you enjoy the sensual enjoyment, and the more resistant you'll be against the studies once you come back again. So it is not a good way to relax, but only the meditation, relaxing the brain, is the most effective one. And do you keep your practice every day?
Not very consistent every day, but
but almost every day, right?
Yeah.
Good. You're diligent as your mother. Okay, number 12. Yeah.
Ajahn, I had a question. When during I'm doing my meditation, I was not feel to be sleepy, but I with awareness, but my sometimes my body was like without a center point and it can be sudden moving like this.
Oh, the body is falling down, right?
Yeah. And sometimes I was feeling like I didn't feel my breathing at all.
That's good, but don't control it. Don't try to protect this state. This state. If the body has no breathing, just let it be no breathing. If the body start to breathe again, just let it breathe again. It's not about good or bad. Just let it be natural. Being natural is the best way. And if you can adjust your sitting posture to sit with a better base of the body. So keep the triangular area between your hip and your knees touching the ground as much as possible, and a little bit pushing the hip backward, so that the central axis will be at the right middle of the body. If you are tending to lean forward, dropping forward or backward, are you falling to backward or forward?
Forward.
Forward.
Yeah.
Forward, then you can sit a little bit, adjust your middle line a little bit backward. And sometimes our hands, the position of our hands will pull the body to the backward. So keep your hands touching closer to the stomach, closer to the lower abdomen. Then the weight will fall evenly to the base. Try to do this. And also sometimes it's about our health, our physical health. Sometimes when our health is no good, then the bodily energy cannot have enough force to support the sitting posture. So it depends. But if it is not so distracting, then just let it be. When you feel the body is dropping forward, then just change. Readjust the posture. Just keep the air channel straight. Then the body will be straight. The vital axis will be straight. Okay.
But sometimes I was not sitting on the floor. Is it any problems if I sit it on the chairs or the higher place, then there will be more concentration on this? Is it all right?
It depends on you. But I think you're quite okay for this method because you are not a lazy person. The comfortable chair is an enemy for those lazy person, but not for a diligent person.
Because sometimes I was in my office and then more convenience.
Yeah, that's fine. Once you can keep your mind awake, mindful. Because we are practicing mindfulness, not practicing the body posture.
So in my daily life, I was trying to practicing as what Ajahn say, like try to be feel like meditation for the whole days. Okay, have kind of awareness. So I was trying to be knowing in doing every sessions when I was in my work. So I feel like it's very workable for me, and you can let go so many things and always stand in the positions where um, anything happen also there will be a very fast response, and anything happens also we can see in more details.
And try to do this with ease, with a neutral mind. Don't be too controlling.
Yeah. Okay.
If it is too controlling, then sometimes it will accumulate some emotions, some aversion or craving. So if it is the just right level, then the mind is light, is bright, is happy, and is sweet. So the just keep it middle, not too tight, not too loose.
Okay.
And also, I say very important to separate the knowing and the known. So that's why I introduced people to use the method, who is knowing. So once we are aware, we ask ourselves who is knowing. Then we know that actually the body is not the mind is not the body. The five khandhas are not me. Even the knower is not me. So and in this state, the mindfulness to the present moment is natural, it's automatic. Once we can separate the body and mind, the mindfulness is natural. It is effortless. When the body moves, it knows immediately. When the mind thinks, it knows immediately. You can try this, see whether they are different or not. Number 2. Do you remember your number? Yeah, it's you.
Thank you, Ajahn. So today, so for the first half of the session, I was very, very sleepy. I can barely follow the instruction. So it's not just my mind my brain was asleep. I think my mind was also asleep. And then for the later half of the session, I think because of the discomfort, the pain in the body, like, you know, that kind of woke me up. But then it's straight in a way that's, you know, I'm still able to observe calmly. And then at that time, Ajahn talk is, you know, kind of, I feel like, you know, Ajahn Dharma talk is kind of flowing into me. Like I was able to receive the Dharma. It was, it was nice. I mean, but still, I mean, in the very end, you know, sometimes I still, you know, wanted to finish, but then another part of me kind of still wanted to continue because at that time, my mind is actually quite energetic, you know, just observing whatever comes. Sometimes breathing is fast, slow, and then sometimes the attention moves to the discomfort in the body. And then sometimes I notice that because of discomfort, I'm still deluded of want to control, want to change the body. And then I'm also aware of that, just, oh, okay, that's delusion. And so it's strange. So that was it for today's session.
So my game is quite effective today.
Yeah.
It brings some changes in your mind. And if we just know it as it is, then we see that the mind is not us. It's not belong to us.
Yeah.
And when we are doing the meditation, just do it as kind of a step-by-step relaxation. Actually, we don't need to control in order to make the mind peaceful. We just let go the 5 hindrances, relax the 5 hindrances. Why there are 5 hindrances? Because we attach to it, and we don't want to let them go. That was our habit. we are so used to think according to our desires. We are so used to not knowing. We are so used to liking or disliking. So this is the source conditions for our 5 hindrances in the meditation. They're just habits. When they come, if we can identify them quickly and not follow them, they will go very fast. And relaxing the brain and relaxing the central area in the chest is kind of direct antidote to the problem. But if our mindfulness is stable enough, we simply just know it. Know and let go, know and let go. Then we can, even when we are sleepy, just know that it is sleepy. It's not me. Then we can overcome it. And the brain take a rest for a while, being sleepy for a while, and then it recovers from it. This is the nature of the body, because the brain is tired. It needs to take rest. And that's why intentionally rest the brain is more effective way to overcome this problem. But we need to identify quickly. Once the sleepiness comes, we know that this now it comes. It is not me. Before you are completely under its control, we can intentionally rest the brain. Then we are much safer in our meditation. Otherwise, it takes much longer time, because once our mindfulness completely lost in the sleepiness, then we can't do anything. Even we have all the knowledge, we have all the technique, we cannot use it because it is completely uncontrollable. So before it is too worse, then try to apply the technique. And we need to identify our situation, identify the 5 hindrances quickly. And sometimes it's about emotion. When we have some strong liking or disliking emotion, it is not about the brain. No matter how you try to relax the brain, but the thoughts will quickly come again, because the source is from the emotion. There's some emotional fixation, emotional obstacle. It also cause the brain becomes so agitated. So we need to identify, need to learn from it. The more we learn, we understand the 5 hindrances, then the better meditation will have. It's all about understanding. Try to solve it with wisdom, not just by habits. Okay.
Okay, we'll work on that. Thank you, Ajahn.
And number 11.
Hi, hello, good morning, Ajahn. I think it was quite good today, the meditation session. So thank you.
Can you follow all the instructions?
I didn't fall asleep today, so it's quite good. And yeah, I think it was quite good.
Yeah, you are sitting very still throughout the meditation. So it's good already. So as the brain, I think the most problem comes from agitation and sleepiness, usually in the meditation. And so we prepare before it happens. We pair the problem before it becomes too worse. Then our meditation will be better, of higher quality, and try to build up the habit of peacefulness to the mind, and the mind can compare between peacefulness and unpeaceful mind. Then it knows which one is the true happiness. When we are enjoying sensual enjoyment, come back to observe the mind. Actually, the mind is not enjoying. The craving is burning the mind. The enjoying emotion are just in the senses, are just feelings from the senses, but not in the mind. In the mind, there are only the craving. Craving is kind of fire. And when we feel this, then we know that actually craving is kind of suffering, because we can compare with the peacefulness when the mind is free from craving. It is peaceful. Craving mind can never be peaceful. Only the peacefulness is the real happiness. And try to understand in this way, then we will change our life. Good, you're improving a lot. Are you practicing every day?
I try to, and then sometimes just try and listen to Dharma talk. So.
Good. So keep it on. And choose a hand. Number 9. Number 9, are you here?
Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon, Ajahn.
Good afternoon.
Today the session was quite good. Able to more mindful to detach. So I feel very light when the mind is able to detach from the body and the five gate. At least today I'm able to do it. Certain time meditation, I'm not able to do it. Today is okay. I'm able to detach. So it's I feel more light. I feel very light today.
Yeah, that's it.
Ajahn, I would like to ask you one question. You see, sometimes these bad thoughts, sometimes it just come and come and come. So is it because our past karma? Is due to the past karma?
Everything that we have
bad
done
thought, sometimes like it just
past
pop
karma.
up.
Yeah, sometimes it's from the emotion. When we are stuck with some liking or disliking emotion, then you try to create the thinking that will reinforce itself. So try to find the source. Everything we have done can be called karma. So karma is everything. It simply means habit. Karmic force means habit. So and what we are doing now are also parts of the karma. And the new habits can change the old habits if we have enough practice. So try to cultivate a good habit.
So once you have enough practice, once you have the good habits, there's a tendency for the good thoughts to arise because of the habits.
Yeah.
Good habits, so good thoughts will arise.
Yeah, when the mind is mindful, then only the wholesome Dhamma can happen in the mind. But when we don't have mindfulness, then all the unwholesome Dhamma, unwholesome thoughts will happen. If it is mindful, then once the bad thoughts come, then we simply are aware that it is a bad thought, and we can let go it. We just don't follow it, and it cannot last long. So it's important. It's mindfulness. Especially try to be aware of the function of the mind and thinking. Once the brain starts to think, who is knowing? Then we are not with the mental creation. We come back to the knowing. And we simply know that it is just the functioning of the brain. It is not me. It is not even the mind.
Thank you, Ajahn.
When we can temporarily let go of the 5 khandhas, the mind is peaceful and awake in itself, right? And mindfulness is natural. So simply practice in this way. And the mindfulness and wisdom will go together. And if we stay with the mindfulness for a longer time, then the mind settles down itself, and samadhi will come naturally. So everything comes from awareness to the present moment. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajahn.
So any more questions? Yeah, number 10. Do you want to share the question now or later?
I probably want to share the question later.
Okay.
Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you want me to report today session?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, a lot of disturbance in the mind, so I can just follow your instruction from time to time and just keeping in and out, jumping in and out from the meditation. Yeah, and then last week I reported that I have a feeling of like the blockage in the middle of the body, right, when I do the meditation. I think I realized that I think it's my stress. So because it's within these few days it happens again. And like after I do like 1 hour chanting, evening chanting, and I do meditation, it just I have that feeling again, like, you know, unable to really do still good meditation. So probably probably that's from my stress, from, you know, the decision I have to make like within these few days.
Being aware of it is better than not being aware of it. When we know it is like this, then we can solve it. Because after knowing, then we can try to let go. And the stress can be rebalanced by relaxation and letting go. So you can, there are different ways to relax the emotional part of us, like metta bhavana, or you can visualize blossoming lotus and in the chest, or kind of releasing your stress to the nature, or can feel the sense of harmony in that area, kind of embracing, let it be. So such kind of loving kindness message can solve the problem. Because the emotional stress, no matter it's from craving or aversion, is kind of tension. It's kind of tightness, makes the mind tight. But loving kindness is kind of blossoming energy. It's opening the mind, relaxation. It's going against all these emotional stress. So have a sense of message like softness, blossoming, or boundless, harmony, peaceful, love, anything, any keyword you like. Try to bring such message to your, with the breathing, in and out, bring such good message to this area. Okay. Anyone has any more questions?
Ajahn, actually, we've got a question from the Google form. Yeah, that is, they ask, what is the medication to do to stop getting angry? And also, another question is how to improve skillful speech.
Stop getting angry. Stop getting angry is through metta bhavana, or any kind of practice will remind you kind of gentleness, softness, harmony, peace, love in the mind. All this kind of relaxation of emotion is the medication to anger. And also we can, when we have enough mindfulness and wisdom, then the problem, we don't need any medication. We just simply know and let go. When the mindfulness is strong enough, when the anger happens in the mind, we feel the mind contracts. It is tight, and sometimes we even feel see the visualization of the mind. And when the mindfulness is stable enough, then we see the changes, see the tension increase in the middle of the chest. It is kind of suffering, and also know that all such anger, disliking emotion comes from craving. We must be craving to something, to the opposite situation. And when the situation that we like changes, then we become angry. The source is craving. Just like if we are so angry to those who disturb our meditation, that means we are so attached to the peacefulness of meditation. It's kind of craving. It's not simply become peace, but it's kind of craving to the peace. And such craving is an hindrance to our meditation, to the right samadhi. It's not a correct way of samadhi. And when we know the source of it, then we can try to let go. We know that it's simply like this, or sometimes we are attaching to the self-image. This is most the case, but most common one. When people scold us, we become angry. Why? Because our self-image is hurt. Because we want to defend our self-image, the ego. If you can let go the ego, knowing that such ego actually is the source of all the problems. And what's wrong when such self-image is hurt? Why don't just accept it? If we have wisdom to see this, then just let it be, let it hurt, let it suffer. But it is not me, it is the ego suffers. And this is also kind to solve the problem of anger. It depends on how you feel. You can try the results of each method. See which one is more suitable for you. And second question, skillful speech. I'm also not so skillful in speaking. Maybe you can teach me. But just try our best. If we are mindful enough, then of course I will speak in a more skillful way. Then I think the core problem is in the mindfulness. Even we have already built up some unwholesome habits in our speech. If we want to change it, we need to have mindfulness and samadhi. We can stop ourselves from reacting immediately in speech. We can stop and think before we speak. So training the mindfulness, samadhi, and wisdom is the way to solve the problem. That is my view. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Number 2, can you stay behind as a companion to me?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Okay, so if no more questions, then let us stop here. And okay, let us take 3 bows to Ajahn. Anjali, Vantala, Apivantala. Anjali, Vandala, Abhivandala. Anjali, Vandala, Abhivandala. Anjali, Vandala. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everyone for joining us and hope to see you again next week.
Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.